morning, Facebook friends. Sorry. Gosh. This is Murielle here from Las Vegas, like every Sunday morning, broadcasting. And this week it started really crazy because I couldn't find my tripod, then I spilled my coffee, and now I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to see your comments and who's attending at the bottom because it's not showing up as usual. So I'm gonna do it anyways. It looks like I'm gonna be able to see. I don't know, I'm not sure. So this morning was very interesting because I usually have in mind during the week the subject that I want to use for my Sunday live broadcasting, and this week I couldn't find anything. So I decided to ask for information from the big boss, from the universe, from God, from whatever you call it, to know what could help you the most, to give me some ideas. And of course, when we ask, we are always answered. And I was answered. So what I'm going to broadcast today about is are you your worst enemy when it comes to dating? But before I do that, while I'm waiting for people to gather and attend, it's really strange because every time I go to broadcast, my voice is getting, I start having like frogs in the voice. In French we say cats. So maybe it's a cat and a frog fighting together. But I always have trouble with my voice when I go to broadcast, so that's funny. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink like every Sunday morning while I wait for you guys. And of course, my son decided to come just at my door and talk when I warned him to not make too much noise because I'm doing my Sunday broadcast. This is one of those days. So I will start, even though I don't see anyone. I'm not sure if it is because you're here and I can't see you, because I changed some kind of setting on Facebook and sometimes I'm not sure, I don't know the ins and outs of Facebook. So dating and being your worst enemy. Do you approach dating with that constant question in your mind of, is it going to be the one? Is it going to be the one? Are you obsessed with it? Are you so obsessed that you cannot even hear what your friends are saying, what your family is saying, or your own inner voice? Are you so refusing to hear that all the warnings that could come from life are not registering? That may be the case. The opposite scenario is, are you so afraid to saying it's the one that you are going with, I'm sure it's not going to be the one, I'm sure it's not going to be the one, that's going to be just another date, that you can't even see the positive points and the positive attributes of the person you have in front of you? That's the opposite scenario. In both cases, you're ruining it for yourself. Stop doing that. There are people who are so afraid when they go to dating that they don't even feel, they're not even in their own body, they're constantly in their head. Like things that we may think that could be a warning. Let me give you an example. If you're afraid to introduce the person you're dating to your friends, for example, is it because you somehow know in the back of your head, because we always know, we just refuse to, because we so want that love story now. We're tired of waiting, we're tired of those dates that don't end up the way we want them to end up. We're tired of dressing up and being full of hope, showing up to the date, and in the first few minutes you know it's not that. And by the way, we do know in the first few minutes if it's gonna be a solid no. We know that, and we know it here in our solar plexus. So listen to your body. And I hope that I can really see if people are here or not here, because somehow I can see. So we know. But sometimes we're so afraid of knowing because we want it now. We really want it now, that we make up stuff in our head. And suddenly it's time to bring the person with you to a party or a dinner, and you are so nervous about it. So are you nervous because you know it's not the right person for you and you don't want to know? So you're trying to escape that thought and you're going anyway with that nervousness in your stomach? Or are you nervous because that person is not the typical person that your friends would imagine you being with? That's another scenario. Are you so afraid and so in need of approval from your friends, from the people you love, or your family, or whomever you're introducing that person to, that you don't want to disappoint them? You don't want to show up with a person that is completely atypic. I don't know if it's a word in English, but in French it means the opposite of typical. Atypical, maybe. Maybe. I'll Google that after the broadcast. So, for example, if you're a person that is really loves books, you love learning, you love using your mind, and the person you're dating doesn't care so much about that. It's a person who's very concrete, very down to earth, doesn't like to read, likes to go mountain biking, or completely different than what you are. Hi Thierry. And you bring that person to your family who has an immense image of you. Your family is putting you on a pedestal, and for them you are the treasure, or your friends, they love you so much that they're gonna judge your date. And you feel horrible about that. But not because it's not a person that could be compatible to you, but because you are afraid of disappointing others. And that's an all other level. That's a need for approval, and it can ruin your life. And when you are able to be really honest with yourself and spot that little problem and let it go, you set yourself free in so many areas of your life. Because that attitude, that need for approval can show up in anything. It can show up when you're young in the profession that you're going to choose, and your parents are going to say, oh no, that's so below you, or you're not using all your talents, you're not, it's not for you, you can get better. And that sometimes will push you into something that is you're going to regret later, and you're going to change once you get into a point in your life when you can't do it anymore. Or that can show up, like I said, in friendship, with your friends seeing you in a certain way and you being afraid to present the image of who you truly are to the world. That's where it comes to. Are you courageous enough to show up in the world as you are? And if you don't care about something, don't start being embarrassed because you're making a story in your head of what the people are going to think. I saw that this week with a mom and her son. I came across a mom who had a son who had challenges, and he he was acting up, and she was so afraid of the image that her son would project to other people that she was embarrassed for him and for herself as a mom, because you always take it personally, like you think, oh my God, what people are gonna think, that I didn't raise my kid properly, when really it wasn't such a big deal. People didn't really care after fact when I talked with them, and it was all in the head of that mom who was so afraid to present a child that wasn't perfectly raised to the world. And we make it mean something about ourselves when it really doesn't. It has nothing to do with who we are. It's just our own need for love and approval from other people, and sometimes even from strangers. That's why sometimes moms are so embarrassed in the store to let their kids cry when they throw a tantrum and they want something and they don't want to give it to them, but they're looking around to see who's going to see that my daughter or my son is crying out and acting out because they want that. I know when my kids did that, I let them cry. And if people didn't like it, oh well, I'm raising my kids. I'm showing them that acting in that way will never produce the result that they want. And that's, for me, more important than getting the approval of strangers that I will never see. So how are you acting in dating relating to that? Are you afraid to date someone because it's not the typical person that your entourage, your friends, your family, your loved ones would imagine you dating? If this is, you have to let it go, because the right person could come into your life and you could not go for it. You could not have the courage to uphold your choices and let that person go. And that would be really sad. So that's what really came to me in my meditation this morning when I didn't know what to talk about relating to dating. That's what came in my mind. So I'm sure, I'm convinced that one person will watch that and it will relate for them. It will resonate for them. And for that, I'm really happy, because I didn't come up with the idea myself. God, the divine, the universe, whatever you call it, gave it to me. And he's the big boss, he knows. So what I'm proposing to you to help you let go of that behavior is ask yourself a question, and don't take it in a morbid way, because that could be taken in a morbid way, but I intend it into a wisdom way. We know that this life is a present for us. We're not going to be eternal here. We are going to go somewhere, someday. And we don't know. It could be tomorrow. We don't know. So we might as well live our life the way we really want to live it. So what I'm proposing to you is to ask yourself, when you get to a place where you know it's the choice that you would like to make, but you're afraid of how people are going to react, the people that love you, ask yourself, if I was going to die soon, if I was diagnosed with a terminal disease, and again, don't take it in a negative way, I have a certain limited number of days, would I care? Would I care? Would I go for it? Would I date that person despite the fact that the people around me could not understand my choice and not agree with it? And go with that, but really feel it in your body, because the truth is, our days are limited. I'm sorry, people, that's the truth. And we don't know how many days we have. So we might as well make our own choices and be courageous enough to stand by them. Because the only one who's going to live your life is you. The only one who can keep you from happiness is you. And sometimes you are your worst enemy, just like I am. So be able to be aware of that and let it go. Life is short. When you know you have a good thing, just let go of what people think about it. when it will pass, if they can see that you're happy and fulfilled soon, they will change their mind. So that was my topic of the day. I'm sure it's going to help someone. And again, thank you for listening. I am going to more and more go to broadcast from my group, Date Like a French Woman, and less on my personal profile on here on Facebook. So if you are interested in getting the tips and tools and sometimes experiential exercises that we do here, join the group. It's free, it's open. You don't have to be even single, because if you're in a relationship, the tips that I'm sharing here, sorry, I had a notification. The tips that I'm sharing here are applicable to everyone, because life is about relationships and dating is one relationship. Dating is one aspect where it really kicks our butt. And all relationships where there is really deep feelings, they can kick our butt too, because that's where we're going to get triggered. That's where we're going to have all our insecurities going up and being really present. That's where we can get into anger, just like this, with certain people in our life that know how to push our buttons. So that's really applicable to everyone. And if you know someone who's dating and who doesn't have the result that they want in their dating life, send them to my group, Date Like a French Woman. I'm here to help. If you have a question that you want me to address, you can put it here. You can go through my website and shoot me an email. Join the tribe, by the way, because I share gifts and tips and things that I don't share anywhere else. And let's be in contact, because I really want to spread the word. I really want to help you have a fulfilling dating life and relationships. And that would be a pity that someone would struggle with something when the tools are available and free. Now, go to my website, ashappyasafrenchwoman.com. Join the tribe. Share this video with your friends if it is of value to you. And I will see you next week around 9:30. Today I had technical troubles, like I explained at the beginning of the live streaming. But usually I'm much earlier. And if you want me to approach something, send me a message. Have a wonderful week. Don't be your enemy this week. Let it go. We live only once in this life. Maybe we'll have another life later, but this life is only today. So have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Sunday.